Hi, my name is Keith and I'm known as the Florida Stone Man, and I'm going to be talking to you today all about 7 of the most powerful pink crystals. I'm going to dive straight into this. I haven't really talked too much about pink crystals, and since I'm getting a bunch of pink crystals coming up because I don't wear pink crystals very heavily besides rose quartz, just for the reason that it doesn't match with anything I'm wearing, and they do have a trait about sticking out. So I'll have them around, I'll have them near me, but I'll never really truly wear them, except for sometimes in my crown. But even then I realized, like, hey, these crystals are really important. So I really tapped into some of their energies, and I asked for help from my angels into how to really understand the different dynamic of each pink crystal, because they're all completely different. And here's what I'm going to teach you today. The first most powerful pink crystal is rose quartz, of course. And you might think, whoa, I have rose quartz, why would I ever need any other crystal besides any other pink crystal? Because rose quartz covers it all, right? Well, keep in mind that rose quartz is the stone of unconditional love, but it doesn't cover all of the heart chakra completely in its different aspects. So one thing you'll see with the rose quartz, it's literally the anti-sponge so if you have people sending you dark energy, even just emotional dark energy, so maybe you have been with someone and they cheated on you, maybe that person has really abused your trust, rose quartz is going to fill that void. But it's kind of like I don't want to say it's general, so it basically covers everything of the heart chakra, but the rest of the crystals that I'm going to teach about is actually the specifics of the heart chakra. So with rose quartz, it covers everything, but if rose quartz isn't doing it for you and you're someone who has some deeply rooted traumas, because some of you have come into this life and you're like, okay, why do I have such a problem loving? Why do I let people take my love energy? Why is this going on? Where did this come from? It's because, or like if you have trust issues, even though you've had good relationships, or like maybe you haven't been in any relationships, past lives are a thing, and that's exactly why we come back, is to basically learn how to do better, how to get better. And some of you have some super deeply rooted past life traumas that are really dug in there that don't go away from several lives. You think 300 years later when you come back, that the ex stabbing you in the back and killing you is going to just that stab wound's gonna fade? No, that's why we come back, and we're here, and we're like, well, okay, why is this? Well, there's this certain void in my soul, because there's 2 sides of the heart chakra: the green side, which is the more projective side, and the more feminine and the more delicate aspect, which is the pink side of the heart chakra. Because the heart has 2 colors: the pink is more on the left, and the green, or the yin, and the green is more on the right, which is the yang. So you have to nurture both parts of the heart chakra, and rose quartz is a very good love crystal, but it doesn't cover everything, every little tiny nook and cranny in detail. So there are certain crystals that actually do cover very specific parts, depending on where your love blockage lies, depending on if you haven't met your soulmate yet. So basically, in general, if you're just starting with a love chakra crystal, start with rose quartz. It's a wide spectrum. If we're talking about this in according to like science, so basically they have wide spectrum antibiotics and they have narrow spectrum antibiotics. Every crystal that I'm going to teach you about is kind of like an narrow spectrum crystal that goes straight to different paths and different blockages of your heart chakra, because sometimes your heart chakra blockages are heart relating to mind, heart relating to solar plexus, or heart relating to other. So basically, the next crystal I'm going to talk about is, let's talk about, because I had a specific order for this video, kunzite. This is very important. I actually have kunzite it's in my car, or it's at home somewhere. That's what I mean. I'll carry these crystals on me, but I don't truly have them on me. You're gonna start seeing them on me. I don't even know where my kunzite went. It's a stone that fades in the sunlight, but the energy about kunzite is that kunzite is a shield. So rose quartz has no protection aspects to it. If it has to protect you, it's going to break. That's why some of you have a rose quartz point and the thing breaks, or it just shatters. It's like, what happened? Like, oh, it took too much negative energy. It tried to defend you when its job was not to defend you. So kunzite is actually a psychic shield, a love shield. It protects you from the baggage and bad emotions of other people. So it is good for nurturing your mind, but kunzite's a heavy heart shield. It shields your mind and it shields your heart. It has a super powerful anti-love drainage property about it. So if you feel more drawn to kunzite, it might be because someone's sucking your love energy. So That's the easiest way to talk about kunzite. There's other aspects of kunzite which I won't get into in this video. When I talk about kunzite in its own video, eventually I'll teach about that. But kunzite is good for different psychological patterns and different emotional patterns, but it's mainly a shield. It does something rose quartz doesn't do. It does attract love, mainly self-love. Like, so rose quartz is a self-love crystal. When you cannot love others unless you love yourself. So kunzite is a shield. Just to make this video simple, I'm going to teach about kunzite being the shield. It's literally a barrier. It's a shield. It's a protection for love specifically, not against psych attack. It's literally an anti-vampire to your heart chakra crystal. That's pretty cool in my opinion, because rose quartz doesn't have any protective properties about it. Now let's talk about morganite, pretty much blue aquamarine, pink aquamarine, which is pretty much morganite in its energies and in its crystalline structure and its chemical compounds and what makes up the composition of morganite, if we want to get nerdy about that. But morganite, literally, okay, so if you're having love blockages or love problems, there's a very, very large chance that you self-sabotage. Yeah, so how can we self-sabotage? It's easy. So basically, and I'm sweating out here, the wind is not blowing as much and it's getting to the summertime, so I'm going to be tanning more and sweating more. You guys might know, like, oh, he has tan lines. Yes, I do have tan lines, but back to morganite. Morganite, and I actually have morganite in this necklace. It's pretty cool. It helps you dissolve. So if you're playing a victim in every relationship you're in and you're just noticing that all these people are hurting you, like everyone's out here to like really do me wrong, morganite actually corrects that, because that's not actually 100% correct. I'm gonna cover my tan. That's actually not 100% correct. It's not everyone's doing you wrong. It's that you were emotionally open, you were emotionally available, and you didn't recognize certain patterns to closing up your aura and be like, hey, I'm not gonna let this person step on me. It's essentially everything's our fault, and if you let someone in and they really do you wrong, it was your fault that you let them in, but you didn't recognize it because that's not a pattern that you recognize, and it happened without you even knowing it. So how are you going to get better if you don't even know it? So morganite actually helps correct patterns that are not serving you when it comes to love. Or like, if you notice a certain kind of person is coming around to hurt you, and that's your 5th or 6th girlfriend or boyfriend, and they keep hurting you the same way, and you're noticing a pattern, morganite corrects that. It's like, this doesn't work. Remove that, remove victim mentality, align your patterns, because and it helps us take more responsibility. It really helps us identify patterns and take responsibility. So morganite's good in that way. You can't be fully aligned if you don't take responsibility of your own actions, of your own decisions, of your own feelings. And if you let certain things happen over again, you're going to get hurt over and over again, and that's going to really affect your heart chakra. So morganite helps you identify patterns, and there's different aspects of morganite, but this is the most important one I'm going to teach about in this video. The next crystal I'm going to talk about, because these two crystals are very confusing and very tough to teach about, because their names, I have to rename them. I'm going to rename them. So rondonite, and because we have rondonite and rhodochrosite. So rondonite looks like meat. It's a crystal with I wish I had the crystal on me to show you guys, but it has pink and black in it. And I remember the first time I ever showed rondonite to someone, they're like, bleh. I'm like, whoa. They're like, why'd you get it? They're like, it looks like meat. Get it away from me. I'm like, oh no, it does look like meat. And this was a while ago. I'm like, ew, I'm never wearing this crystal. And that's one thing with crystals too. If you're absolutely disgusted by the crystal's energy, then you actually need to work with it more. So that's one really cool thing. But morganite is very, very wonderful, because it really, really helps you. Can I say rhodonite? Rhodonite, because I'm gonna rename this crystal. I don't like the name of it, so I'm gonna rename it. I know it already has a name, but I'm gonna call it something else eventually. That's okay, because if it helps you guys learn, it actually did a good purpose. But rhodonite is actually a shock healer, a wound healer. So anytime someone really shocks you in a relationship, you're like, this person, like they're not showing 50-50, that really hurts. And then you emotionalize that shock on your inside. It goes to your solar plexus chakra, and guess what happens after that? You start manifesting bad love and bad patterns, because you internalize some of the bad things that the person did or said, or some of the bad patterns around them, and you were really just taken by surprise. So rhodonite prevents you from being taken by surprise, and it really does block people from doing that again. So that's one problem with love. Like when you get cheated on, you're like, you can never love again, you can never feel good again. Rhodonite's like, it puts the black and the pink in it puts up a massive shield. It's like, hey, you're not gonna wrong me again. You're not gonna wrong me again. This is not gonna happen. So it's a wound healer. It literally prevents shock. It heals wounds from past lives. So it could be 5 or 6 lives ago. If you got really brutally broken up with, or someone really violated you when it comes to love, Rondonite actually just, it heals that. It's like, okay, I can feel better. It's like the patch, because when people have a hole in their heart, that's an actual energetic hole, a void that has to be patched and filled. Same thing with people with addiction, such as people who go to rehab. They'll always talk about, I have that hole in my soul. Rondonite puts just, if you have a burn, it takes the burn away. Yeah, Rondonite, they say, this is not a medical video, but they say Rondonite can be used to heal physical wounds as well. So Rondonite heals wounds in general. It's literally the wound healer. It prevents shock. It's wonderful for patching wounds. That's a very important thing. That's the most important thing about Rondonite. There's other qualities about it that I won't teach about in this video. The next crystal I'm going to teach about is rondochrosite. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. I mean, when I don't like the name of a crystal, I'll be like, blah, 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 blah. And like blue chalcedony, I'm still calling it blue chalcedony. I'm like, who named this? Who named this? I'm like, I'll rename it right now. So that's just me. I'm like, if I don't resonate with the name, I'm going to rename the crystal. You guys are going to know it by a new name. I'll put it on my website in a new name. And you're like, what's Dragonstone? It's Dragon's Blood Jasper. That's not actually a Jasper. And I disagree with the name, so I'll just rename it. So I'll come up with a new name in the future. Rondochrosite actually is a wonderful crystal. We're at 5 crystals now. Good. It's a wonderful crystal. Rondochrosite is a really good crystal to help you psychologically. So if you are playing also the victim mentality, but in this case, you don't see your own patterns, kind of backstabbing yourself, kind of like Morganite, but rondochrosite actually helps you dissolve those patterns, and it also brings in new and better patterns. So it invites in new patterns for you not to be self-sabotaging. It helps you not be as overly emotional or not as sensitive. It really starts to fix different chakras that are out of whack to all align with the heart chakra. So if you're storing bad emotions from a very long time ago, it's going to help you kind of like just move different emotions around so that they're in order, so that they line up. Because if you've ever had emotions and you're like, these emotions don't make sense, I don't know what's going on, I don't know why am I having problems with love? It's because your emotions are not aligned. And rondochrosite literally just puts them back in order, and you're like, okay, cool, I can see. It's hard to see down the end of a tunnel if there's trash barrels in the way. Rondochrosite empties out those trash barrels, moves the trash barrels to a side, stacks them, organizes them, and moves them, so you're more likely to be just clear-headed, and you're like, okay, cool. Rondochrosite also attracts in love on a soul level, kind of like how jasmine, the herb jasmine or emerald does it, but rondochrosite is a very, very, it's there to teach you lessons. It's really there to teach you. It's kind of like, the crystal itself is not going to teach you. It's there to really bring up lessons and really teach you lessons. Kind of like Morganite, but it does it more in a psychological aspect to like, hey, you have to see what is right for you. You have to see what is aligned and what's not aligned. I'll talk more about this crystal in the future, but this is more like of the psychologically aligning crystal. So rondochrosite is going to like make things go and fall into the exact line, so you can see at the end of the tunnel. I'll talk way more about that crystal in the future, especially when I have I'm going to talk more about that in the future. But that's the most important aspect of that crystal. It helps you bring in love on a soul level, for you to really see what's really going on, for you to really just put 2 and 2 together. That can make 4, but not forever. Actually, yeah, like same thing. Like certain things will not make sense to you. It'll put certain things together and be like, it'll help you puzzle things together and figure things out and be like, okay, wait, this actually makes sense. I'm seeing patterns here that I did not see before, and now this is helping me, and it makes sense. It really makes sense, and it really helps you just be like, oh, I'm confident because I really know what's going on, versus you ever just go somewhere and be like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, it's like looking at Google Maps, and let's say you're in Miami and you're looking at Google Maps and all these different directions going like this, versus you've already been there, you know which directions to take. Those maps are not going to throw you off the road. I mean, because you know the road. That's the same energy of rondochrosite. The next crystal is very interesting. Pink tourmaline. So something about this crystal, something about this energy of the stone, it releases such a frequency. I want to say it releases a It's like just an energetic, like, what's the thing called? A sonar? Basically, it sends out like a sonar, and it makes everyone in the environment kind of be like, ooh, okay. So people will, if people are like just stiff, including you, maybe you're in a relationship. So on a base level, pink tourmaline literally sucks the heart chakra blockages out of your heart and releases them. It literally sucks it out like a sponge, because remember, black tourmaline will pull it out of you, but pink tourmaline in specific literally pulls the blockage out of you. It rips it out and removes it, and it has to do with more of like just intimacy and trust and just being comfortable with who you are. So if you're someone who's like squeamish, and like when someone goes to touch you, like, don't touch me, or like when you're supposed to say hi to someone and that person is just like, get away from me, like, I don't like being touched, like, just like, even if you're in a relationship and like you're trying to get closer to your partner, and your partner's like maybe they got violated a long time ago in even another life, and now they just don't like physical touch, they don't like physical interaction, they don't like that, they don't like any kind of like, your shoulder touch me, your foot touch me. So that's actually a subconscious blockage in your mind, but also of the heart. Pink tourmaline removes both of those subconscious blockages. It makes you more comfortable to love. It really helps you relax, and it actually releases some kind of like energetic, almost, because it's like an energetic sonic frequency, almost like an aphrodisiac. It releases like this frequency as if it's like a Wi-Fi connecting to other people in the environment, just telling everyone to be like, hey, relax. So when you wear it, especially as a necklace, people will be like, oh, okay, I don't feel so on guard, I don't feel so painful, I don't feel so hurt, I don't feel so distrusting. And it's actually a crystal to get more physical intimacy from someone. Let's just say you're the person who has trouble with physical intimacy, and that's really hurting your relationship. You really want to hug your partner, your male or female partner, it doesn't matter. You really want to give them a hug, but you're just like, I don't like this. Like, I don't like the feeling of being touched, because like you might have had a trauma that you don't even remember from a past life. Pink tourmaline removes that, and it actually creates everyone to feel more physically connected in your environment. So people will be more, I made a video about it, don't let everyone touch or pat you, but if you have a problem with your partner touching and patting you, it makes everyone more comfortable in you and the people in the environment of being like, okay, cool, we can all connect now. And some herbs that have a very physical effect like this, like catnip and violet, are two herbs that if you wear, people are going to want to be all over you and touch you and be physically intimate, which, if it's someone you really trust, that's your partner, that's your boyfriend, girlfriend, your husband, your wife, that's okay. It is a crystal. You'll get more people trying to touch you and like grab on you in public. People are going to want to be more physical, so just keep that in mind. It's going to happen. But that's a crystal that has to do with removing physical and intimate, like physically intimate blockages, and really connecting people on a physically and intimate level. The last crystal, the seventh crystal, is pink opal. Now this one was a tricky one for me to figure out, because all these different opals, there's so many different kind of opals. I'm like, okay, what's pink opal? And it's literally the self-love stone. It connects you to an angelic frequency of just self-love, and it makes you very lucky regarding love as well. So this is a freak luck crystal, because keep in mind, opal crystals are all about luck. When you're wearing pink opal, you'll just walk into your soulmate and be like, what are you doing here? And like, it's synchronicity of love. Pink opal is pure divine synchronicity and timing of love. You don't know who is right for you. God knows, and most importantly, God will assign the right person for you in your life at the right time. Don't ask your angels, don't ask your spirit guides to bring you love when God knows the perfect timing. The most important thing is He is above all else. He will assign to us the person who's right for us. Anything outside of that, you'll find resistance and a struggle and pain with. So yeah, pink opal really helps you with luck in love. Pink opal really it makes you love yourself more. It makes you feel more vibrant. It makes you feel more free and just fluid. And you're like, okay, cool, I can be myself. I don't really care what everyone else is doing, because I love myself. It doesn't matter. You become a certain kind of vibration. You become on that angelic level of vibration where you're just like, I'm doing me. And you might get noticed by people. Keep in mind, the goal is to not be noticed by other people when you're wearing these love crystals. It's to notice yourself. Why do you need anyone else when you have yourself? You don't need anyone else. You are not a half, you're a whole. That's what this video is about. These 7 pink crystals are really very powerful, because if you neglect, this is my left side, if you neglect the left part of your heart chakra, you're going to have trouble in friendships, in relationships, and just everything connecting to another person. You're gonna feel like someone's trying to victimize you, because remember, this is the feminine side, this is the more nurturing side. You're gonna feel zapped and drained by people who really just don't have heart energy. Maybe that person's missing, because this is the weaker side of the heart chakra. It's literally the heart. If you get stabbed in this side of your chest, you'll survive. If you get stabbed in the heart, there's a major chance that you're not going to survive. So keep that in mind. If someone stabs you in the green side of your heart chakra, you might suffer for a week. But if someone stabs you in your heart chakra emotionally, you're going to bleed for a year spiritually, and you're going to feel miserable. You're just going to feel sick. You're going to feel sad. You're going to feel lonely. You're going to feel drained. But when you have the pink crystals that I suggested, it really just it puts your mind together. It puts your heart together. It puts your solar plexus to connect to your heart, to your mind, which in that case, you're going to be so vibrant. People are literally going to chase after you. And when you wear some of these pink crystals as a combination, because you're going to get a lot of attention. It's not about getting attention. It's about getting the intention of basically giving your attention to God and getting what is right for you versus what you think you might need. So a lot of these crystals will stop attention-seeking behaviors, because it's not good to be attention-seeking. If you're out in public, looking to see who likes you, you're void. It's flat out, you're void. You're empty on the inside. If you're looking for people to love you, you don't love yourself, and you're going to attract someone else who is on the same level as you, and they're going to be in a relationship with you to teach you a lesson. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Ciao!